Okay. It strikes me as it would be so much better if I could just video this and do all the stuff on the computer so I don't have to like show you my computer. But you know how you see in tutorials? I look at a lot of tutorials because they're free. Anyway, hopefully this won't be incredibly too long. I honestly, again, it's just one of those things. It's like, oh yeah, I can knock this out in 2 days. Perhaps I could knock it out in 2 days if I had worked 14-hour days. But frankly, I don't want to do that. There's nothing that says I have to do that. So here we are. You can see here, I've got 3 different documents going. This is the wardrobe. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. And I have changed some things around from the last time that you saw them. There's some things, the balance was off and I didn't like it. So I've created, this is the main door that's going in. There are the 3 on each side, the slimmer, drawers. See, menopause brain. The large middle drawer at the bottom. I've created 2 more smaller drawers here. And then these, because I added this part and I wanted a certain amount of spacing between these shelves to make sure I have enough room to add carton board or a support board, I went ahead and made this much smaller and turned it into a small cabinet. You could, anything that's got a dot on it, you can see that's either you're going to put, I think for these three here, they're going to have like handles, and then these will just have pulls. I still think I have some work to do on this one. You can also see that I have started putting, I started adding text, and part of this is because as pieces become more complex, and this is part of that complexity, a more complex piece doesn't necessarily, the pieces, you can look at this and it's like, yeah, that's a drawer. I can kind of figure out where that goes. The back, I kind of know where that goes. But when it comes to things like this is simply these are simply pattern pieces. Oh, and I need to make sure that I need to double check all these. Like this is the bottom, top, and divider above so there's a piece that goes here, a piece that goes up at the top, and a piece that goes at the bottom. That's the internal piece. And then the armoire sides and vertical dividers. So that would be attached to these outside walls, and then one other goes here and one other goes here. The side drawer, the small side drawer dividers are the ones that go in between 1, 2, and 3, and I'll need 6 of those. And then if you want to add the mirror, this can be the mirror part if you want to have a mirror on this, because right now I think I like it better without that. Again, it kind of makes me want to put some artwork on it, but for right now I'm not going to mess with it. Everything on this side has been double checked. This is purposefully not even. I do like to occasionally, on all pieces, there's something in them that is purposefully done that is not even or balanced. And you can see on this one, I went ahead and put this on an 11 by 17. So this would need to be, this could be, how do I put it? When I have this printed, because I was talking with the printer and I got the okay and the information on it, then I can have these printed as single sheets 11 by 17, which I think I'm going to take advantage of, at least for proofing. Again, I want to do another version of this particular piece in which this is absent. so it would make the piece smaller. It would take down a couple of drawers. I would lose this cabinet. I would lose this stuff over here. But I want to try that out. Let's see. And as you can see, I've got the artwork over here. And you can see the artwork. There were 3. This came down really super low. You know, if in a pinch, I could add all the supports and things in here and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But again, you know, I was talking to my husband about it, and it's like, I've always got to make it more complicated. I like all of the moving parts. The moving parts are very important to me. So let's come down here and let's grab, I spent most of yesterday working on nightstands and, you know, getting the armoire finished up. And when I write to myself in my notes, because this is a good idea. I know where I'm going and I can write down my notes, and there's only that thing on the page that I can concern myself with. I don't get drawn to other things. With this particular version, you can see here, I have 3 versions of the nightstand. This is nightstand number 1, and you can see where I have altered it from, this is the original piece. And I've just gone in and straightened everything, which just means that I could print this out, fold it up, and glue it together, and it would look fine. This originally is supposed to be a little cabinet, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. However, because I'm me, I've moved some stuff around, and this is a backsplash. I've looked this up to see what this is called on a piece of furniture, and it's always listed as a backsplash, which it kind of is, but it seems like it should have a better name. So I have this piece that would be folded, goes to the back. This is the top of said nightstand with the curves on them. Again, I purposefully made this a little not completely, this side and this side are not even. They are not the same size. Then there's the drawer that goes in here. And right now I'm figuring out, I need to figure out the length length and width of each of these pieces, and so I can do the pattern pieces. The next version of this one will still have a back portion, but this side will simply be a full, there will be a curve here and here, and it will be a drawer, nothing here. The drawer, the legs are going to go up, so I need to do a little bit of a redesign down here to make these a little smaller. These side panels will be much smaller, and it won't have a backsplash. It will just go together. This goes on here, and I was actually thinking last night that for that redesign I could still use this as the main body, and simply add, no wait, not for this one, for the backsplash, the one with the version with the backsplash, I could theoretically put this on this piece and fold it all up. I still may do it, but maybe right now probably not, because my brain has to have something to work on when I'm getting ready to go to sleep. So I'm going to be working on this today and finishing this up, and then because this got so complicated and I'm going to have 3 versions of it, I went and created a separate one for the bed. And you can see here that I haven't touched this since I put it together. I have touched these pieces here, because you can see everything is lined up. The feet are lined up, and I've gone through and I've changed around these curves a little bit. I just didn't like these little points right here. They were starting to bother me, and I wanted to get that fixed. So once I fix these, I'll make sure they're sized to this, and then I can go through and do my straightening, which when I say straightening, what I mean is, let's see, I'm going to come in here. These are main lines. These are decorative lines. These decorative lines still need to be lined up with the other pieces. I come in, and this is a point, this line right here is a 0.365 millimeter line. So if you are in Europe, you know what I'm talking about. If you're in the United States, you might know what I'm talking about. It's really thin. What I do when I'm straightening up is I go through and I put anchor points around all of the lines. And I then, that's the point in which I can begin using my Katie math and creating these little jigs in different colors. Stop it, I didn't want to do that. Come back here. Okay. My mouse is starting to go. And you can see just by like, this just bugs me. It's like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. I can test for what the width is going to be by coming in here, and this is a 2.65 line. I use these for the smaller dashed lines. I think too I may experiment with this one and make some of the lines, especially the dashed lines, it depends on the no, I don't want to do that either. The colors that I choose for wood texture, I may make them brown as well for test. And sometimes I do need to make them larger because maybe I'm trying to, I line up the points on the folds because I want them to look neat and tidy. So I will sometimes come up. I wish that the function of snap to grid in this was a little better, but it's such an annoying feature that I don't use it a whole lot. And when I say snap to grid, it just means when I'm moving this piece around, when it gets close to that line, it'll automatically go chink like a little magnet. But because I use so many guidelines, it doesn't always work the way that I want it to, and it'll snap to things that I don't want it to go to. So this is the sort of thing when I say I'm straightening it up, I'm going through and laying in these things and making sure everything, all the straight lines are perpendicular that need to be, and then I would take something like this and simply go around and make sure after those lines are laid in, and I can tell this, I knew this was going to be too wide already. You can see here, I'm coming in about half of that, a little more than half of that width. I'll need to, sorry for the shaking. I can come in and start straightening it up. And I know this is like laborious work, but I think it's, wow, it's another thing that it's part of. My inner trained graphic designer. I'm sorry, once you're trained as a graphic designer, you never become untrained. It's like learning 10-key punch. You'll know it until you die. So you can see here, I knew this was going to be a little too wide. It's about this line needs to go in by about a third. And I know that's kind of laboriously anal retentive. Shout out to the anal retentive chef, Saturday Night Live. If you know, you know. I'll put a link in there so those of you who don't know can take a look. That I just need these to line up. And again, this is my inner graphic designer coming in. I just, the fact that this corner and this corner don't match bothers me. Bothers me a lot. So I will go in and change that. I have decided to leave the pillow off center. Again, something that is purposefully left not corrected. And I kind of like it that it's the artwork of the artist. So that's something I'll leave in. I'm not going to make any other really huge changes. I do have a neat little plan for what I want to use for the in place of the duvet here. And I have that can't be done until everything's printed and out, but it involves some crocheting of tiny things and some hand sewing, which, you know me, I love hand sewing, and I love tiny crochet too. Anywho, this is what I've been working on, and yeah, I need to straighten those up too. So when I say straighten, it means me putting in a lot of lines, a lot of guidelines. It's nice. I've been learning some more shortcuts like this one, which is turning them on, turning them off, which helps a great deal. And then I've been thinking about, it depends on the wood. I have a really great picture of, it's either painted wood, it's like cherry, and then there's another one that's burl that's really nice, because I kind of liked this dark brown kind of, I mean, this is very, this is all very modern. This is all very not Art Nouveau, ding dong, Art Deco. So I kind of like the aspects of that. I kind of like the little weighted chunky bits down here. I'm not going to make these taller like I did with another bed. I just don't like that. It didn't look as good. So I'm really looking forward to laying in the wood, and I'm glad that the artist gave me some hints about what kind of wood would be used. You can see here, kind of a tiger maple kind of pattern in there. So I'll see what I can find, and I'm sure I'll conjure up something that will work really well. So that's what I'm working on today, and then hopefully I'll be done with these by at least tomorrow, and I can move back to, because I want to do the bunk beds. I have some I have some redesigns for the bunk beds, which include this kind of a top that I think will just translate better, plus there's some meaning behind it too. Again, when I'm working on these, I plug myself into my music and I just work on stuff, and again, I'm shaking, and I tend to think more about choices I'm making and why I'm making them. So those start to become more relevant as time goes on. Anywho, thank you for sticking with me, patrons. Another long, almost 20-minute video. And I will see you in the next video.